morning and welcome to the program. It's Talk Sport on Global Television. Time for us to look at all the big stories making the rounds and, of course, the scorelines at last night at UEFA Champions League. It was an amazing night where the Galacticos, yes, you call them the Galacticos Real Madrid, where they did what they know how to do best, come back from behind and whip their opponent. That was what played out last night at the Champions League. And also, don't forget the Under-17 World Cup is still on in Dominican Republic, where our Golden Flamingos are still on fire. All right, welcome to the program. Let's begin with the big story that an 89th minute late goal helped Nigeria's women's Under-17 national team. The Flamingos beat host Dominican Republic early Wednesday in Santo Domingo in the ongoing 2024 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. Midfielder Shakira Moshood collected the ball from 25 yards and launched a powerful left-footed strike at goal, which went past the Dominican Republic goalkeeper, marking her fourth in the tournament. Earlier, 15 minutes into the game, Moshood's attempt was ruled offside by the video assistant referee before the team captain Taiwo Afolabi struck to force the Dominican goalkeeper to a save. After halftime, the Flamingos kept piling the pressure on their opponent before Moshood found the net. The win is the Flamingos' third straight as they emerge Group A leaders above Ecuador, host Dominican Republic and New Zealand. The win in their final group game has helped them amass a total of 9 points. The Flamingos have been in blistering form in the South American nation, winning their first two games, scoring 8 goals and conceding just 1. Meanwhile, coach Bankole's side began the tournament with an emphatic 4-1 win over New Zealand in the Group A opener at the Saibao Stadium in Santiago, followed that up with another impressive 4-0 victory over Ecuador. According to the X-handle of the FIFA Under-17 World Cup, Nigeria's game is the highest attended football match for any Dominican Republic national team, which saw a record of 13,535 spectators at the stadium. The Flamingos will face their United States counterpart in the quarterfinals bout of the tournament. All right, congratulations to our darling Flamingos doing us proud there, winning that game and moving us top of the group. Let's move on to other big stories, and today is a very important day in African football. So we've got the football enthusiasts across the country grappled by the anxiety and suspense as the Confederation of African Football, CAF, announces its decision on the botched 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifying Group D tie between Nigeria and Libya. Today, the Nigerian Football Federation had launched a complaint with CAF after the Libyan authorities subjected the Super Eagles to inhuman treatment upon arriving in the country for the second leg against the Mediterranean Knights on Sunday. In a video posted by the Eagles media team, the players and officials were left stranded with their luggage at the airport, with the Libyan airport officials indifferent to the plight and conversing in Arabic. Libya were scheduled to host the 3-time African champions at the 10,000 capacity Matthias of Benina Stadium in Benina, located just 10 kilometers from Benghazi. But their plane was diverted to Al Barak Airport, which is over 200 kilometers and 3.5 hours drive from the planned campsite. The Al Barak International Airport, typically used for Hajj operations, lacked basic amenities, leaving players and officials tired and frustrated. Neither a receptive team nor vehicles were provided by the Libyan Football Federation, forcing the Nigerian Football Federation to make an alternative transportation arrangement. The Nigerian contingent was caged at the airport for over 20 hours without food or water and completely shut out of the world, compelling the West African giants to boycott the game. In response to Nigeria's protest, the Libyan Federation said the Nigerians did not cooperate with them in any way, whether in the first or second leg, indicating that their experience is a child's play compared to theirs, while in Nigeria for the first leg. Meanwhile, CAF President Patrice Mosepe during a press conference on Tuesday after the 46th Ordinary General Assembly in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, said proper investigation was ongoing, leaving all fingers crossed ahead of Wednesday's decision. That's today. For the judgment. Some football enthusiasts have expressed worries and concern following Mosepe's comment that the football governing body would take a very decisive step. Hopefully, we'll be having Frank Alapa, a sports analyst, join us via Zoom to help us look at all these issues we are looking at. But before we get Frank into the mix, let's give you some story concerning the Flying Eagles of Nigeria. The Nigerian Flying Eagles are determined to secure a win against Ivory Coast in their second Group A match of the 2024 WAFU Zone B Under-20 Championship at the Municipal Stadium, Lomé. Togo, the team's media officer Sharif Abdullah said the players have resolved to approach the game all guns blazing to achieve the desired result. In the meeting, in the instance of the skipper Daniel Bamiye on Monday, after losing 1-0 to Burkina Faso in the first match, the Flying Eagles are condemned to beat the Young Elephants in order to rekindle their title defense and qualification for next year's Under-20 Men's African Cup of Nations. Abdullah said the players are in high spirits and beaming with confidence, looking to once again overcome the challenge of storming back into contention after losing their opening match in the major international championship. Meanwhile, the team's head coach Aliyu Zubairu had blamed the loss to Burkina Faso on the physicality of the opponents that adversely affected their game plan. The scenario will be different against the Young Elephants, known for their fast, gritty approaches to matches. Meanwhile, the WAFU B Under-20 Championship serves as the qualification for the 2025 African Cup of Nations tournament, with only the finalists going through. These 2025 Under-20 AFCON will also serve as the African qualifiers for the 2025 FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Chile, where the 4 semi-finalists will qualify automatically. All right, let's give you one more story concerning Super Eagles attacker who might be missing the Champions League tonight. Let's let you know that Super Eagles striker Victor Boniface is a major doubt for Bayer Leverkusen's UEFA Champions League clash with Stade de Brest on Wednesday following their involvement in a car crash accident on Sunday. Leverkusen's managing director for sports, Simon Rufus, revealed the striker's availability remains uncertain after the crash, which occurred hours after he scored in their 2-1 Bundesliga victory over Eintracht Frankfurt, leaving him with minor scratches despite the car he was in being totally wrecked. The 23-year-old was the passenger in the Mercedes that collided with a truck on the A3 highway between the Bad Karberg and Ostend while heading for Frankfurt Airport. According to German police, the driver lost control due to fatigue, causing the vehicle to skid from the middle lane into the truck and overturn. Boniface escaped with minor cuts to his hand and was treated at a hospital before returning safely to Cologne. The striker later shared pictures and videos of his smashed car on social media, writing, "God is the greatest, and God says my time hasn't come," according to the Super Eagles striker. All right, let's see if let's go for a quick break. When we return from this break, we'll be giving you stories concerning Onyedika and Chukwueze, who faced out in the Champions League, where AC Milan faced Club Brugge in the UEFA Champions League, and we'll be getting our guest, Frank Alapa, to weigh in with his analysis of all the big stories we've shared. Stay with us.
Time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news, and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses, and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns, and victories. Talk sports with the king of sports, Anthony Momadou. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
Beautiful work from the wingers!
From the break, let's give you this story that it was a bittersweet experience for Super Eagles duo of Samuel Chukwueze and Raphael Onyedika, who featured prominently for AC Milan and Club Brugge, respectively, in the UEFA Champions League match at the San Siro on Tuesday. Onyedika was handed a starting role by Brugge's manager Niki Hayen, but the midfielder had ill-fated outing as he was sent in for an early shower 40 minutes into the game after he was shown a straight red card by German referee Felix Zaya. With just 5 minutes left in the first half at the San Siro, Onyedika, in a bid to chase down the ball, committed a reckless challenge on Tijani Jandas, leaving both players injured in the process. After reviewing the situation and consulting with the visual assistant referee VAR, the German official showed the Nigerian a card for dangerous foul, leaving the visitors to play the remaining 50 minutes of action with 10 men. The Nigerian international has been a key player for the Hyens side, particularly in the Champions League, scoring in one of the last two appearances. His expulsion proved a significant blow for the Belgian side, who were a goal down before the incident but suffered a 3-1 defeat despite being a man down. Brugge managed to draw level just 6 minutes into the second half, but were punished by 2 quick goals, with Chukwueze the provider of the second in the 71st minute. The former Villarreal player started from the bench and came on in the 60th minute for the Portuguese Rafael Leo. Just a few seconds after taking on the pitch, the Rossoneri regained their lead after Noah Okafor assisted Ray Genders. 10 minutes later, Chukwueze assisted the Netherlands international for his second goal of the game and Milan's third of the night. It was Milan's first win of the new Champions League group phase format, having lost their first 2 games to Liverpool and Bayern Leverkusen. It was Onyedika's second red card of the 2024-2025 season, with the first occurring in Club Brugge's 1-1 draw against Royal Union St. Gilles. All right, moving on to other big stories. Let's just tell you FIFA news this morning that more than 400 footballers have been waiting for over a year to receive payment from FIFA, a FIFA-run fund designed to help players owed money by their clubs. Meanwhile, the amount of $4 million was reportedly meant to be paid to 420 players by September 30th of last year. However, it has been reported that these payments destined for the out-of-pocket players have still not been made. Emails and letters from Global Players Union, FIFPro, to FIFA chasing up the payment have reportedly gone unanswered. Many of the players impacted are believed to be based in Portugal, Greece, and Romania, although the figure of 420 does not include players from all over the world. The sum is part of the FIFA Fund for Football Players, which was set up in 2020 following an agreement between the governing body and FIPRO. FIFA set aside $16 million at the fund's launch with the aim of providing financial support to players who have not been paid and have no chance of duly receiving the wages agreed with their clubs. As per Inside FIFA says, the report followed the filing of a complaint last week by bodies representing footballers and clubs in Europe, including FIFPro, which accuses FIFA of abusing its position over changes to the international match calendar and tournament expansions. All right, from FIFA, let's go to the match between Aston Villa and Bologna. That's the story we're taking now. And let's move on and tell you that John Duran entered a fit of rage after being substituted by Unai Emery in Aston Villa's 2-0 win over Bologna in the Champions League at Villa Park. The Villains made it 3 wins from 3 games upon their return to Europe's Premier competition, with their victory over the Italian outfit sending them top of the 36 club table. Duran scored the all-important second goal for the host at the hotel end after captain John McGinn had opened the scoring 10 minutes into the second half. As his celebrations came to a close, the Colombian forward looked to the bench to see Oli Watkins waiting on the touchline and his number on the fourth official's board. The Colombian striker then visibly lost his cool as he took to his place back on the bench, kicking and punching his seats in frustration. Duran was handed the first ever Champions League start by Emery following his heroics in the historical victory against Bayern Munich earlier in the month. Meanwhile, the 20-year-old, who has been hailed as a super sub this season, made his mark in the 64th minute when he drifted into the box and hooked Morgan Rogers' cross into the far corner. It would prove to be his last touch, as he was replaced by Oli Watkins, who did not look best pleased when he saw his teammate find the back of the net. All right, that's Aston Villa. They're doing great things in the UEFA Champions League, and John Duran, the man on fire, scoring all important goals for Aston Villa. And pundits say he's likely not to stay long in Aston Villa in the coming weeks, and especially come the January transfer window. Let's move on. Let's take you to the Gunners, where it was a very interesting one for Arsenal. This was hardly the emphatic response to a weekend defeat Mikel Arteta would have envisaged. Job done, but that as much as can be said, really, as Dimitro Rizink's first half own goal was enough to ensure Arsenal returned to winning ways after their surprise loss at Bournemouth. But it should have been far more comfortable than this, particularly when you consider Leandro Trossard's missed penalty. Arteta will argue that a win is a win. He is right, of course. Arsenal are firmly on track for qualification to the Champions League knockout stages, thanks to this victory over Shakhtar Donetsk. Yet the manner of it will have done little to spark fear on Merseyside for Sunday's clash with Liverpool. Arsenal were wasteful. They created enough opportunities to win 2 matches, but did not take them. Arteta may view that as a positive, but they won't have the same luxury against Virgil van Dijk and Cole when they face Liverpool over the weekend. But be said, Arsenal has won that match, and they are getting close to the qualification knockout stages of the UEFA Champions League, which is very important for the Gunners. And on Sunday is going to be Arsenal taking on Liverpool in the English Premier League. All right, leaving Arsenal, let's go to Manchester United. Old Trafford is where we're heading to. We've got the story concerning Erik ten Hag, and it says Xavi holding talks with Manchester United. Remember Xavi Hernandez, Xavi, former coach of Barcelona is in the news this morning. Let's tell you that Xavi Hernandez is emerging as a potential target for Manchester United if the club decide to sack manager Erik ten Hag. May Sport understands that intermediaries have made contact with the former Barcelona star twice in the last few months. A four-man delegation led by Chief Executive Omar Berrada flew out to Barcelona last Thursday, although United sources say that a number of high-level meetings have taken place in the Catalan capital recently because co-owner Sir Jim Ratcliffe has been there to support Ineos Britannia sailing team in their battle with New Zealand for the America's Cup. But it has also fueled speculation that Xavi could be a contender if Ten Hag is axed after 2.5 years in charge. Meanwhile, Ten Hag's assistant Ruud van Nistelrooy would be an obvious short-term replacement, and Xavi has also made it clear that he doesn't want to coach in Spain again. United sources maintain that Ten Hag remains their manager and that the club have no plans to make changes as he prepares to face Fenerbahce in the Europa League on Thursday. United declined to comment on Tuesday, saying they refuse to engage in speculations over the manager's future. But time definitely will tell, as Xavi has met with officials of Manchester United. All right, let's take you to the Champions League proper. I've got some big stories concerning the Galacticos. Yes, it was Real Madrid 5, Borussia Dortmund 2. Yes, the big story tells us that Real Madrid left it late to produce a stunning comeback in their 5-2 win over Borussia Dortmund on Tuesday night. In a week that's been dominated by talk of Jude Bellingham's underwhelming form, it was Vinicius Jr. who made the headlines after scoring a hat-trick for Los Blancos. Dutch striker Daniel Malen opened the scoring after smashing an effort past Thibaut Courtois from close range in the 30th minute. It only took 4 minutes for Dortmund to double their lead as Jamin Gittens found the back of the net to give the visitors a seemingly comfortable lead. After a dominating first half, Dortmund boss Nuri Sahin decided to substitute Gittens for centre-back in Waldemar Anton in the move that proved costly. Just 5 minutes later, Real Madrid pulled one back through Antonio Rudiger, who popped up inside the box to dispatch of a neat Kylian Mbappe cross. From there, the floodgates opened for Madrid as Vinicius Jr. pulled them level just 2 minutes later after the ball fell to him inside the Dortmund penalty area. The momentum firmly swung in Madrid's favor, and in the final 10 minutes of regular time, they pulled away from the German counterpart with ease as Lucas Vazquez provided the goal that put them ahead after bursting into the box and firing past Gregor Kobel from the tight angle. Meanwhile, Vinicius Jr. then struck twice to complete his hat-trick and put the game beyond doubt. Despite their shaky start, Madrid had won the game, and Real Madrid manager in the person of Carlo Ancelotti praised the extraordinary Vinicius Jr. and told the press conference he was convinced that the 24-year-old would win the Ballon d'Or award for the best player in the world on Monday. All right, that's a big one there. Let's go for another quick break. When we return from the break, we still have some other big stories concerning the UEFA Champions League. We'll be telling you about a player who was celebrating, thinking he had become the youngest goal scorer in the UEFA Champions League, only for the VAR to cut his joy short. That will be after this break. Stay with us. right, welcome back from the break. It's still the Talk Sport, almost saying it's still the Champions League fever right here as we're talking about the man called Kamada. He's in the news this morning. Kamada is the man we're talking about this morning as he did celebrate widely, thinking he became the youngest player to score in the Champions League until the VAR did him in. All right, let's let you know that AC Milan striker Francesco Kamada had a historic moment cruelly taken away from him by VAR during his side's 3-1 win over Club Brugge on Tuesday night. Kamada came off the bench in the 75th minute to make his Champions League debut after two second-half goals from Tijani had opened up a comfortable advantage for the Italian giant at the San Siro. 3 minutes from time, he looked to have got his dream moment as he lashed onto Tijani's cross and looped his header beyond the goalkeeper. Aged just 16 years and 226 days, Kamada believed he had just become the youngest Champions League goal scorer in history and celebrated widely by ripping his shirt off and throwing it on the floor. He was duly mobbed by his teammate, but VAR quickly clicked into the gear to make sure it was a legitimate goal. After looking at several replays, it was decided that Kamada was just offside when the cross was played in and his effort was ruled out. The teenager looked devastated as he learned that his goal would not stand, and he sat on the floor with his head bowed the full time after failing to find the net in the remaining minutes. He will still get more chances to break the record, though which is currently held by Ansu Fati when he scored for Barcelona against Inter Milan at the age of 17 years and 40 days in 2019. Meanwhile, Kamada was clearly gutted, but it was a positive night for Milan, who finally got their first European point on the board after losing their opening two matches against Liverpool and Bayer Leverkusen. Former Chelsea star Christian Pulisic opened the scoring before Kieran Sabe equalized for Brugge shortly after half-time. And Tijani then took center stage with 2 strikes in 10 minutes before Kamada almost got his record-breaking goal in the closing stages. A very sad story for Kamada, but hopefully he's going to have his time to score more great goals as the UEFA Champions League matches continue. All right, let's move from there. Let's take you to Old Trafford, where they say is a theatre of dreams, where dreams do come true. Let's move on and tell you that Manchester United, yes, they are looking for one man. His name is Angel Gomez. Yes, United target Angel Gomez. That's the story we are looking at right now, as Manchester United have been handed a major boost in their pursuit of former player Angel Gomez. According to reports, the 24-year-old was handed his Three Lions debut by interim head coach Lee Carsley earlier this month. The former Manchester United star impressed in his 2 Nations League appearance against Ireland and Finland, alerting many Champions League clubs to his availability. Gomez has entered the last year of his contract at Lille, and he will be free to sign a pre-contract with other clubs from January 1st if he decides not to put pen to paper on a new deal at the League One club. According to L'Equipe, there are no signs of Gomez signing a renewal before the date, which will come as a major boost for United. After the sale of Lenny Yoro to United for £52 million in the summer, it has been reported that Lille could be tempted to cash in on Gomez in January rather than let him leave for free next year. The midfielder started his career in England at United, joining the 20-time English champions at the age of just 6. However, 3 years after making his senior debut at Old Trafford at just 16 years of age in 2017, the talented midfielder left his boyhood club for a move to France. Gomez's influence at Lille in his 4 years at the club, in which he has contributed 27 goals has attracted interest from clubs within his home nation. And then we'll be looking keenly to see what's going to happen in the January transfer window. With Manchester United be going for Angel Gomez or not will be the big question when the transfer window opens in January. All right, let's talk some tennis and give you the big story concerning the lady called Emma Raducanu. Yes, Raducanu is in the news this morning as we look at big stories from the tennis world. Let's let you know that Emma Raducanu's season is in danger of petering out as she withdrew from yet another tournament. The 21-year-old pulled out of next week's Hong Kong Open, meaning she has not featured since injuring her foot ligament in Seoul last month. She has played only 2 events since the end of July and must now be serious doubt to join Great Britain's attempts to win the Billie Jean King Cup at next month's finals. GB's first title tie in the Billie Jean King Cup finals is in November 15th against Germany. Meanwhile, given captain Annie Cote-Tavon also has Katie Botta and Harriet Dart to pick from, it is by no means certain Raducanu would be selected for the fixture, even if she declares herself fit, considering how short of match practice she will be. Raducanu has struggled with a series of fitness issues since her shock US Open triumph in 2021. Let's also let you know that she has had 7 retirements on the WTA Tour since her breakthrough win at Flushing Meadows. Meanwhile, Raducanu has suffered an injury-hit 2022 season while she underwent wrist and ankle surgeries last year, which ruled her out for the majority of the season. Meanwhile, the British star has revealed in September that she had targeted a heavy schedule in the Asian swing but has been unable to play since her inquiry in South Korea. All right, that's tennis there. Let's move on to other big stories and taking you back to the round later game. You call it the king of sport, football. And Arsenal is in the news this morning trying to get a player. Let's tell you the story that Arsenal have reportedly registered interest in signing a striker from one of their Premier League rivals this winter. The Gunners currently have Kai Havertz and Gabriel Jesus to call upon up front, but both men failed to score on Saturday as Arsenal were beaten 2-0 by Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium. Mikel Arteta's men have slipped 4 points behind early pace setters Liverpool and may require more firepower in the final third to end their title drought this season. With this in mind, they are eyeing up a prospect of adding another number 9 to their ranks and are keen of signing Aston Villa's John Duran. According to Colombia outlet AS, Duran, 20, has made a flying start to the season at Villa Park, scoring 6 goals in all competitions, including spectacular winners against Bayern Munich and Everton. He recently signed a new contract to keep him at Villa until June 2030. However, he has been unable to displace Oli Watkins as Unai Emery's first-choice striker, and clubs may feel he could be tempted for a move elsewhere. It is understood that multiple clubs, including Arsenal and Barcelona, have reached to Villa over Duran's availability. All right, we get to see if he'll be moving or not in the transfer window, especially when January comes calling. All right, from one transfer news to another, let's take you to Newcastle, where Anthony Gordon says his overriding ambition is to end Newcastle's 55-year trophy drought after signing a new long-term contract. May Sport reports that Newcastle Confidential column revealed last month that the England winger was set to commit his future to the club and understands that the new deal runs until 2029. Meanwhile, Anthony Gordon became unsettled when Newcastle considered selling him to Liverpool in June as they sought to avoid breaching profit and sustainability rules and a points deduction. It was described as the time as a nuclear option that was a determination within St. James's Park to find alternative solutions, and that duly happened with the sales of Yankuba, Mite, and Elliot Anderson. Liverpool retain an interest, and Arsenal are also admirers. But Gordon says he is happy on Tyneside after the club rewarded him for the rise that has taken him into England's starting 11 this season. His goal now is to win a trophy. All right, I'll go for a very quick break. When we return, the program continues. Stay with us.
It's time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns and victories. Talk Sports with the King of Sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
That goal! Beautiful work from the wingers!
It's time for sports' biggest moments on global television. The headlines, scores, breaking news and commentaries on sporty events. Talking with the biggest players, strikers, and about the slam dunks and goals, stunning saves, near misses and upsets. Let's talk about the greatest home runs, comebacks, knockdowns and victories. Talk Sports with the King of Sports, Anthony Momodu. Weekdays, 10 a.m. Don't miss out.
That goal! Beautiful work from the wingers!
back from the break. It's still Talk Sport as we reach at the business end of the program. Hopefully, we'll be joined by Mazino Dixon, who will be a sports analyst to help us look at today's very important decision as football visitors across the country are grabbed by anxiety and suspense as the Confederation of African Football (CAF) announces its decision on the botched 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifier between Nigeria and Libya. The Nigerian Football Federation had lodged a complaint with CAF after the Libyan authorities subjected the Super Eagles to inhuman treatment upon arriving in the country for the second leg against the Mediterranean Knights on Sunday. So we've got. Good morning, Dixon Mazino. Thank you for joining us on Talk Sports. Can you hear me? All right. What's your expectation? Today is the D-Day for CAF to make a decision of who was either right or wrong between the botched 2025 African qualifier between the Mediterranean Knights of Libya and the Super Eagles of Nigeria. What's your expectation from CAF?
Well, thank you very much. For me, based on what is on ground, definitely I expect the Confederation of African Football (CAF) to do justice. And what do I mean by justice? Definitely the Libyans will be fined, and I expect that the Super Eagles should be awarded 3 points and 3 goals. Why do I say this? Because the CAF today morning talked about the issue of sportsmanship, and he said that going forward, even though he will not comment directly on the Nigeria-Libya, will definitely take action when it comes to the issue of sportsmanship, where teams deliberately frustrate national teams and club sides. And if you recall, being affected by this Libyan treatment, talk of Rivers United, talk of Eyimba of Aba, and now the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Now, you see, the Libyans they have to make the argument that Nigeria. Now, if that was the case, the Libyans would have protected the CAF officially. They basically put the lives of the team in danger. And so to set a precedent, I expect CAF to come out hard on Libya. 1, be deducted 3 points. Nigeria, it goes 2. Libya should not hold national game for the next ball cycle that of the AFCON qualifiers and World Cup, because already the Libyans have been confirmed or confessed that yes, there are 2 or 3 governments in that country. So that Libya be allowed to host international matches if you don't have authorities that you can directly deal with, conflicting authorities. Then the other question is, you diverted the play few hours away from the match venue. Now, if the tank, what I mean by tank, if the fuel that was on the plane failed, God forbid, crashed, would we be talking about what, so that it was, he went off tangent and should be punished. However, there is a push by other African football federations to support Libya. So if CAF does slam Libya with sanctions, this Nigeria would move the match to a neutral venue where the Super Eagles.
Okay, Mazino, lots of people are worried where would be the ideal neutral ground for both teams. From your perspective, which region of Africa should be considered a neutral ground for that match, knowing that anything Algeria, Tunisia, Morocco is still northern? Where would you consider a neutral venue? To whose advantage would you think the neutral venue should be? Nigeria's or Libya's?
Well, the truth is that, but for the internal politics that is going on now, if the match have any, even if it's played in North Africa, not against, it's to advantage of nobody really. Why do I say all our players play in Europe? The climate in North Africa is similar to what you have in Spain, Portugal, and Turkey as well. So there's really no advantage. It's just that of lives of the players, and wherever the match is taken, the Libyans, you take the neighboring Egypt and the Libyans for the state antics of using green reflective lights and all that. It won't really matter to us, really.
All right.
Neutrality.
All right, Mazino, I want to say thank you very much for joining us and share your thoughts as regards what you expect from CAF as they make their decision today as regards the botched 2025 African Cup of Nations qualifier between Nigeria and Libya. That's how we're going to call it a wrap on today's edition of the program Talk Sports. My name is Anthony Momodu, King of Sports, saying thank you for being part of the program. Good morning.